The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back. Another high episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bell. Got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. What's good with you, my boy?
What's happening with him, man?
Hey, another day, another dollar. We in here. Been exciting day, exciting weekend, or weekend plus for the LSU Tigers in the portal. Brian Kelly holding up to his end of the bargain, man. You give, I give. We gonna work that money.
Yeah. He said that was gonna be aggressive, and he lived up to his word. They've done just that so far.
Yeah. You was kind of mad at him last week.
I was.
He was mad at him, and I think he watched the show. And he was like, "Okay, I got you. Let me show you something."
I just doing my part, man. Just doing my part.
Yeah. So, but nah, for real though, man. It was great, you know what I'm saying, to see LSU get aggressive, making some of the moves they've made. I'm looking forward to talking about it, man. We can talk about tonight some of the players that have been added, what they look, you know, saying their production, what they've done, our thoughts on the gets. We talked about the Heisman last week, and exactly what you said was going to happen. Well, the person you said was going to win it won it. I don't think it's any surprise, but it's been some backlash behind it. That and a couple other things with that, but we'll get to that too. And then overall, the weekend as a whole, man, in sports, it's pretty good. So we'll talk about all that. And then also, at saying, we get close to the end of the show, of course, saying, we'll talk to the people, let them call up, saying, see what they feel, what they talking about. Normal guy jumped in his thing, said he first. Appreciate that. And he said, like, man, I appreciate you, Normal. Y'all make sure y'all do, do that, like, well, let me go ahead and throw it up here, man. All right. We'll tell everybody, thank you for watching. You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Do us a favor, subscribe, like, and share. Again, subscribe, like, and share. But let's go ahead and get to it, man. We're going to give a shout out to our sponsor over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag. We will be back in 1 minute.
The views and opinions.
BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
And we are back. Man, Ant, we done got some big names, man. Out the portal. Some guys came back that I don't know if we necessarily were. I'm not came back. Some guys who committed who I don't think we were hoping for. I don't know how we felt about. I don't know how you felt about them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't say it, but I had my doubts
About
about us being able to actually pick up some of these players. Whether we really were going to spend this money and get these players. And I know not everything is not everything has been send that money, spend that money, but I know it helps in the process. But I had my doubts, man. But we started off with the tight end, Sharp from Oklahoma.
mm-hmm.
Then I'm trying to pull up so I can see y'all some of the guys we got. Then you got Jamari Butler. You got out of Mobile, Alabama at that too. So I always talk about it, saying championship team, what you need. So we got that. You also got Barry and Brown from Kentucky, speedy wide receiver. You also got Jakeem Jackson from Florida, talented cornerback. And I'm trying to think who else.
Quarterback from Mississippi State, Michael Van Buren.
Yep. And then the big house.
The edge from Florida, Jack Pyburn. And then today, the cornerback / safety from Virginia Tech, Minnesota, Delane.
Yes, sir. Man, your thoughts, man, on the guys we've picked up.
I think they all guys who can come in and contribute right away. With the exception of probably the quarterback, but I don't think that that's because of ability. I think that's more so because of Nussmeier coming back, so he probably won't get the opportunity to play. But I think you look at Pyburn, he's gonna be that Savion replacement, and gonna
I was just finna say your
he's
sound
gonna be
was coming through the it was coming through the earbuds, wasn't
it? Yeah. I could hear the little echo. But Pyburn gonna be that Savion replacement, set the edge. And he got the mindset of a guy who wants to be good stopping the run. If you can listen to some of his interviews from Florida, he talking about going there and just blowing stuff up like that. So we ain't had a guy with that type of mentality and mindset in a while. So that's a pleasant thing to have. But when you look at the secondary guys, I think obviously Jakeem Jackson was somebody that Corey Raymond liked a lot, recruited him to Florida. And if you look at his body type, it's a Corey Raymond DB. He's tall, rangy. So I think that he's gonna be somebody who could compete for playing time right away, alongside Ashton Stamps possibly. And then you bring in Delane, who's really a safety, but has played cornerback due to necessity at Virginia Tech. So he's a versatile guy who could probably play nickel if he needs to. So I think you get just a weapon in the secondary with him who you can kind of play wherever you need him to play. But I would like to see him play at the safety position myself. I don't know too much about Butler, but from what I've seen, all right, so you know how LSU has the 18 and 7 tradition.
Right.
All right, Nebraska has a tradition under Matt Rule where single digit 0 through 9 is going to go to guys who exemplify toughness and the right mindset, the right work ethic and leadership, kind of like the 18 for LSU, right?
Right.
Jamari Butler received one of those single digit numbers last year for Nebraska. So that's the type of work ethic and off the field type of approach to the game that you're getting from him is somebody who gonna handle his business in the weight room, in the classroom, and in the locker room. So he ain't too shabby on the field neither. I just don't know if he's gonna be a starter or a rotational guy. But
Right.
obviously Barry and Brown, you know what he can do. The SEC all-time leader in kickoff returns, speed threat, in an offense that didn't really throw the ball very well, still put productive numbers up. So I think he's gonna be a good addition to that wide receiver room and can give us a deep threat that we kind of lacked at times during this season. And then I don't know where Dothan, Alabama is.
Mhm.
Uh, that's where the tight end from. So
Oh, okay.
you got two Alabama guys in this. So but
I ain't realized he was from Dothan.
I think you get a good a receiving tight end out of him who pretty athletic. So
Yeah.
I would still like to see us bring in somebody who can block on the edge. But so far I ain't gonna complain.
Yeah. Perp in the building. Appreciate you for coming through, Perp. My man, Paul's Hub says that Butler happened to be teammates with Neil Ferrell for 1 year at Murphy High School.
That don't even seem like it could be possible.
It's crazy, but yeah. But yeah, I know I was wondering where he went to high school too. Murphy was one of our rivals, man. They my high school rivals, just because they were they thought they was the stuff, man. They had all kinds of different stuff there, man. You got to elevate in your school, man. Yeah, forget y'all.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
They won the never mind. We can talk about that offline. They won the prize jewels of the city. Yeah, like
I bet.
Bump Murphy. Anyway, Joe said, Big Perk said, all I need, hold on, I gotta say it like Perk. All I need is my dancing bell.
They're hog molly.
They're hog mollies. Nasty work. But yeah.
6'6", 360. That's the A and the B gap at the same time.
Yeah. Chance says that Dothan is near Fort Rucker. You probably don't know where that's at. It's not far from Troy. It's
gotcha.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta say.
Not far from Troy. Probably about 15, 20 minutes from Troy, something like that. Yeah, so yeah, actually it's funny. I've seen a lot of players from Dothan on college teams lately, so that's starting to pick up. BK said H, the tight end, was physical in the running game.
That's good to hear. We still need another one though.
Yeah, we do. We need another one.
But I agree with with Perp. I need me a one of them. I almost said, "Ooh, I'm glad I didn't say that." I need one of them lane fillers. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know.
I need one of them lane fillers on. You know what I mean? Whenever they think they got a running lane, you clog that up.
Yes, sir.
And then I need another secondary guy. Whether that be the Bayer kid or the what's the other safety that they brought in or was talking about bringing in, the FIU safety. I can't think of his name, but
okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but yeah, if they able to bring one of them in, I'd be even more satisfied with what they've done in the DB room. But I mean, like I said, I ain't gonna complain. I think they still trying to bring in a center or another guy in that interior offensive line too. And so if they could pull that off,
Boy, I
for
tell you,
two
she's so
flats.
hold on. She's so impatient. You Danny chimed in and said, wait, we still need my center too. Yeah, we getting there. Golly, hush,
Didn't
hush
even
up,
let me
hush up.
didn't even let me finish, man.
Yeah, hush up. She's so impatient. So impatient. um, but I
I'm
agree.
trying to Perk, your guy, that D lineman from Texas. That's who I want.
Gotcha. Um, I'm gonna tell you
That's
who I
who I
want.
want.
Uh, I want, I want, I want one more wide receiver. I want Anderson since Hudson, Micah Hudson,
Oh
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah, yeah.
committed to Texas A&M. I would love to get um Nick Anderson. I also think that if you bring in another wide receiver, there's not necessarily a rush for that wide receiver to be instant impact. I would love for it to be instant impact, but I also want somebody who I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I still want to see some of the young guys we got.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, um, I wouldn't mind getting a guy who's shown a little bit more than our young guys,
That's
just
true.
in case one of our young guys don't pop. You know what I mean?
hmm Um, Chance Babin says, "What about Jacoby Matthews? I hadn't heard a lot of chatter about him. I've
I'll pass.
yeah, I hadn't
No
heard a lot of chatter.
disrespect, but the kid ain't played football last year. And
That's
I
true.
need I need a guy who can come in and play right away, not a guy who's gonna take time to get back adapted.
Yeah. Perp said he had uh mm, Danny asks, do not need names or anything, but how many current players do you think may hop into the spring portal after camp?
Now I wish Jeremy was here with our numbers, because I tell you how many had to.
Yeah. So I
But I
think he
think I think
last
I think we at I think we was at like
79.
79.
Mm-hmm.
And then so as of now, nobody has to. But if we bring in another wide receiver, a center, another safety, you at 82.
It depends on what you it depends on
If you bring
anything
on
over
a D tackle,
seven, anything seven or more is how many you.
yeah.
So
So I mean, I still think, regardless if we have to get rid of some people based off numbers, I still think you're gonna have a few guys into the portal after spring. Just based off what they shake out on the roster as far as the depth chart. Um, Possibly a wide receiver, considering you bringing in two wide receivers. Um, Possibly linebacker. Um, Possibly safety or cornerback, since you're bringing in all these safeties and cornerbacks. So I mean, I think it's possible for sure.
yeah. Um let me ask you, I think you already talked about that. I was gonna say what we need, what's left that we need as far as position wise. I think we already talked about. You covered that.
I kind of still feel like we need a linebacker. And I know people gonna say you just brought in 4 last year. Well, now one's gone. So 3 last year and what, 3 this year, whatever.
Mhm.
But I feel like we need a middle linebacker, like a true Mike linebacker, like Greg Penn replacement. And whether that's the kid from Grambling or somewhere else, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I feel like we need somebody that's used to being the quarterback of the defense and lining everybody up and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I'm not saying that whoever we bring in has to be the starter, but I feel like we at least need to bring in somebody who has some experience doing it, because as of right now, we don't have anybody. That was always Greg Penn with the green dot, and then it was Sage. But as far as the linebacker. So I mean, if you're gonna put the green dot on somebody, at least bring in somebody who used to it.
Mm-hmm. Let me talk about the elephant in the room. Harold Perkins. I do know that there was a tweet went out said he was returning. I hadn't seen anything
Yeah,
that
nothing official.
nothing to remotely suggest that was even legit. But Harold Perkins returns. Let's say Harold Perkins returns. Um, I know we still need another Mike regardless, but if Harold Perkins returns, how big is that for your defense?
I think it's big. I mean, you
Pause.
can say, yeah.
I set that up. My
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, I think that's a big impact for your defense as far as getting a player of his caliber back. Even if they maybe don't know where to put him, you just having that type of athlete on the field makes a difference in certain situations. Um, I think he was starting to kind of find himself at the star position before he got
Completely,
hurt.
completely agree.
So, like if you able to bring him in at the star, and you talk about having him and Whit Weeks with the improved defensive line that you have, and Devon Keys
Mm-hmm.
at the linebacker position. I mean, you talking about an improvement over the tackling from last year. You know, I mean, obviously Harold Perkins will be an improvement over Major Burns at the start. That's no slight to Major Burns, but I mean, we talking about Harold Perkins being one of the best athletes in college football. You know, I mean, I think Devon Keys athletically has a higher ceiling than Greg Penn. So I think he can make a few more plays just based off that than Greg Penn can. So I think that's kind of an improvement. Maybe not as far as knowing what the offense is about to do and the X's and O's that Greg Penn had as far as being that Mike linebacker. But if you're just talking talent on talent, I'm not sure that Devon Keys isn't just as good or better than Greg Penn as far as his ability to run and chase down and make tackles. So I think if you throw Harold Perkins in with what you bringing back on defense next year, I think you're already looking at an improved unit as far as athletic potential and like just tackling ability. You know what I mean? Like I just think that your defense is an upgrade over where they were last year. Not to mention the improvements you made in the secondary with all the guys you brought in.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy, Zoe Phillips from Tiger Talk. It's Jackson State Tigers in there. He
National
said, "What's
champions.
HBCU national champions? Hey, congratulations, big dog. I was happy for TC, happy for y'all. But I definitely have y'all on mute until after bowl season because I can't y'all. It's too much Jackson State for me right now. Too much Jackson State.
Yeah, that and the Heisman in the same
That
day. That's crazy.
that has the same day. It's wild. But nah, for real though. All seriousness though, man. Congratulations to Jackson State. And TC Taylor, man. What a remarkable story. And we'll probably talk about that a little bit later too. But man, let me ask this because I did want to go here. Other schools in the portal, what has been the biggest surprise for you? I'm gonna tell you mine. I know what mine is.
Go ahead.
I was not expecting Jackson Arnold to go to Auburn. I thought that was gonna
Yeah, me
be.
neither.
I thought he was going with Leby.
Yeah,
I mean
me
Leby.
too.
I thought
Yeah,
he was
me
going
too.
with Leby.
Yeah, me too. Clemson got a transfer player.
Yeah, yeah. The
That
kid
was
from
the FCS kid.
yeah.
I forgot what school he was from.
Was it? It's not Missouri State. It's
I don't even remember. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that was pretty surprising. Um kind of surprised that we haven't seen like Ohio State and Oregon and Georgia. And I know that they in the playoff chase. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of surprised we ain't seen them get. I know
Aaron
Ohio
Nolan.
State. Yeah, they losing players, but they ain't really gaining play. I know Notre Dame got that kid from Bama,
Mhm.
but it ain't too many playoff teams that's really portal shopping right now. And I don't know if that's because they just confident in their roster and they recruiting, or if it's just they focused on trying to win a championship. But I'm kind of surprised they not more players in the game right now.
Yeah, completely agree. Somebody was talking about Southeast Missouri State is where the SEMO is where the kid
Okay.
Tristan Smith committed to Clemson. Also, man, I'm gonna tell you who else committed to FCS to um, P5. Prevard. He was the I want to say the defensive player of the year in the MEAC, Morgan State, and he entered the portal and is going to Virginia.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so um, about the playoffs, a lot of people are asking why are some of these kids jumping in the portal and stuff. Uh,
Should they have to?
you have to because of the timing. I mentioned the other night the nationals, the early signing day jumped up 3 weeks, so that completely changed recruiting and everything else and timing. Um, Also, some kids who, if you want to go SEC, some of those teams that are in the SEC, they're in the playoffs. If you want to go SEC, you have to enter right now.
Well, it ain't even just that. Like, all right, so if you wanna go to your next school and play in the spring, you gotta transfer now so you can
There you go.
enroll and be registered for classes in the spring. So you have no choice but to go ahead and transfer now
That's true too.
and go ahead
Very
and
true.
enroll to go to your new school and be eligible for spring and go through spring practices and all that kind of stuff. So there is no choice but to do it now unless you want to go through spring at your new school knowing that you're not going to play there, which
Hmm.
defeats the purpose. So I mean that there's no choice, and I know a lot of people are making a big deal out of the Penn State backup quarterback who entered the portal. I mean Malik Murphy did the same thing last year, and I don't know if it's because Texas had Arch, it wasn't so much of a big deal because they felt like they had a capable quarterback still on the roster and Arch, but we've seen this before, and
Hmm.
so everybody's blaming the NCAA. I don't really know what you want the NCAA to do. You want them to get rid of the fall transfer portal window and make kids go the full academic year at an institution, knowing that they basically gonna waste their spring. That's the only answer.
Let me ask you this, because it still goes back to because your point is timing is everything and it's going to hurt. So Danny asked the question: do the playoffs team have a disadvantage for the first portal due to the prepping for the playoff games? Um, technically, yeah, but at the same time, I was gonna say because I was gonna make a suggestion. I was like, what if they do the portal till um like January? But then at the same time, you can't start school because a lot of schools start school
Yeah, that's
like
what
the
I'm saying.
right there in
Mo-
January. So
yeah, you don't have time to get enrolled in classes, bro. Like that's the main thing, getting your
get
financial
moved.
aid and all that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
and getting enrolled and admitted and all that kind of stuff. Like, um, I guess you could but that's the thing. Like the national championship ain't till after classes start for the most part. So you basically will make kids. That's what I'm saying. Like the only thing that you could do is basically say you gotta go to full academic year, and then that puts transfer kids in the eight ball because they don't. all they have is spring practice and fall practice with their team. And
Yeah.
and like, if you the NCAA and you trying to deter kids from transferring, that might not be a bad thing though. You know what I mean? Because if I'm a kid and I know I'm finna transfer to LSU, let's say,
Mhm.
but I can't come to the summer, the chances of me beating out somebody on the depth chart ain't as good. So I mean, I might as well stay where I'm at if I'm gonna be third string either way. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so you might deter some kids from transferring if you make them go to full academic year at a school and only be able to transfer, in May or whatever the case may be.
National championship, January 20th.
Yeah,
So you
classes
almost
already started.
you almost in February unless
Yeah,
you're going unless you're in California or somewhere.
or you like you're in one of them schools that do the quarter system or something like
Yeah.
that. It might be a little different, but either way it goes, classes already started.
Mm-hmm.
And you might could like enroll and do like a half a semester class at a school, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how many schools allow you to do that.
Yeah, and I think wouldn't it be kind of weird to be, because you still technically on scholarship at one school, and then you enrolled at another, that it gets, and if you're trying to stay through the playoffs, that get real fishy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
Chance, man, he talked about it, said Malik Murphy is back in the portal. Where will he go next?
I
What
think
was
he
the
visiting.
what was the rumor? It was one
I
school
think
that
he
wasn't it
visited.
Auburn?
Yeah, but I think Florida State was in the mix too. I want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I ain't heard much about the kid though.
DJU. I don't know if that was true or not.
He went pro.
Yeah, okay, it was true. Okay, DJU going pro. Um, Florida State brought in.
They got Castellano supposedly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna. Man, speaking of that, you know what? Let's talk about this. Norvell. Mike Norvell gives back 4.5 million of his salary to the school, I guess, to go
Gives
towards
back.
or restructured or whatever.
They took that shit. Let's be real, bro.
Yeah.
They said you got two options. Either you getting fired or we finna restructure your contract.
Mm-hmm.
And the man want a job, so I did see that, Josh. I did see that. Malik, Kentucky. I did see that. Which is crazy to me. He should have stayed at Duke.
But Norvell is not the first coach to go through this because Mike Gundy was kind of forced to restructure his deal.
Any similarities between the two?
Yeah, both had terrible seasons where they went 3-9 or 2-9.
And
2-10.
for conference play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Neither one of them won a conference game. So
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So yeah. Is this a new trend for college football?
I think so though, because like if school's gonna be all right, so starting next year we revenue sharing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there goes some money that schools ain't gonna be able to afford to pay for buyouts. And then on the booster side, we paying for players now. So we can't afford to do no buyout. We can't afford to raise money for a buyout either. So if we can't afford to buy this man out at $50 million or whatever it is, the only other option we got is to restructure his contract.
Mm.
And if you the coach, I mean, what you gonna do? Call they bluff and say you ain't got the money to buy me out? Like, or 9 times out of 10, you want to keep your 9 times out of 10, you want to keep your job. You know what I mean? So you just gonna
Yeah.
take the restructure deal.
Instead of Bayou tradition, it's gonna be buyout tradition.
Yeah, I mean, but
Oh man, but yeah, it's that's tough, bro. That's tough. Do we see a lot more older coaches retire?
I mean, Wake Forest coach just retired or stepped down, whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
Saban stepped down.
yeah, I think so, but I think it's I think it's because they don't have control.
Mm.
Like you don't have control over your roster, over who stays and who goes. The players have control over that. You know what I mean? And I think these coaches were so used to having so much control of every aspect of their program. There wasn't a piece of paper that they didn't know what was on it. You know what I mean? Like, and so if you go from being able to control every minute aspect of your program to all of a sudden the most important thing in your program, the talent now is out of your control. Only thing you can control is what comes in a certain, well, not even fully. You can only, you can try to bring in everything that you can, but you still limited in that because they gotta want to come there. So that's all you can control though, is what you can go get and what you can bring in. But then the players, once they get there, are responsible for how long they stay. You can't control that. So if you can't control the most important part of your program, like, and you've been able to control everything the whole time for 40 years that you've been coaching, that's a big adjustment to make, man. And I don't think that these control freak control freak coaches can adjust and get used to not being able to have the most power.
Yeah, Aaron said that's what a lot of college coaches liked about college ball.
Yeah.
And he brought up, he said BK said that's why he stayed in college and never tried to do the pro.
But this the thing, if I'm not gonna have control over my program as far as who comes and who goes on the roster, why not go to the NFL? Well, I ain't gotta recruit and I ain't gotta do all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Actually have a summer.
yeah.
Or off season rather.
Yeah.
Chance Babin asks, I think this is, he said, do y'all think Austin Thomas is making things happen for LSU with the portal? He was the architect of Ole Miss last year. I think he was the architect of the collective and fundraising. I don't necessarily think that.
I mean, I'm not too sure, but the first year he's here, LSU goes crazy in the portal and landing a whole bunch of guys. Could that be coincidence, or could it all, you know, be just because they changed their philosophy, or do you think, or could he have a part of it? I mean, yeah, he could have a part in it as far as how to allocate the money, how much players should get paid, or whatever the case may be. Like he could have a role in it, but I'm not going to give him all the credit.
That's true.
But I think it would be foolish not to give him any. But I think at the same time, it'll be foolish to give him all the credit also. So
Yeah.
I'll say he deserves partial credit in it.
Yeah. Hey, I like this question too, because I think we talked about it a little bit. Chance says, speaking of control, how is Belichick going to handle college?
I
I
think he's
think,
gonna do. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I can say I think Belichick gonna do well because the new college football with the it's like the NFL. Now you got to manage. I mean, technically it's not contracts, but it's
It
contracts.
is. It's 1 year contracts.
Free agency. Think about the Patriots team. You get one star player or whatever, and then you surround him with guys who may not be big names but are talented enough and get stuff done. So
Yeah, I think. I mean, you say there ain't no contracts, but and technically there's not. But
mhm.
in theory, it's nothing but 1 year deals that the player can decide to renew and come back for another year, or he can decide to leave. Similar to what LeBron used to do when he like came back to Cleveland and all that. He signed a 2 year deal with a player option and to where he could opt out after the first year and come back, and resign or leave. You know what I mean? Whatever he wanted to do to give the player the leverage. So
Mhm.
that's pretty much what these players are doing. They signing 1 year deals, pretty much technically not signing anything, but in theory, it's a 1 year deal with the university. And after the season's over, they'll decide if they want to re-up or not. And Belichick pretty much, I mean, look at what he did when he was in New England. He signed a bunch of players to 1 year deals, these troublemaker kids, quote unquote, that nobody else wanted. He signed a bunch of them to 1 year deals. And if it worked, he'll bring them back again. If it didn't work, I'm gonna let you go. And I think that's what he's gonna do at the college level. He's gonna bring in kids. If it works, come back for another year. If it don't work, I'll see you later. And I think the type of kid that he's gonna go after isn't necessarily gonna be the type of kids who are gonna be the diva type kids who are gonna up and leave because they're not getting the ball enough or whatever the case may be. I think he's surrounded himself with a pretty good staff in terms of roster management with Michael Lombardi, and I think they're gonna have an approach to where they go get Belichick type players. I mean, look at the first person he brought in the transfer portal was an offensive lineman from Holy Cross. Like, I mean, if that ain't the most Belichick move
Yeah.
ever, you know what I mean? So I think his philosophy ain't gonna change. He gonna be more about development, and I think you're gonna see him have a bunch of junior and seniors on the team that'll get most of his playing time because he's gonna go get guys who've been developed or who've stayed in his system and have developed. And those, like, he ain't gonna have a bunch of 5-star freshmen that are out there playing. He's gonna have a bunch of fourth year 3-stars, who've developed in his system and in a college weight room and gonna be playing grown man football out there.
Yeah. Justin Cooley says, when is Perk going to make an announcement? So here's the deadlines. I went ahead and pulled this up. So the early soft deadline is Monday, January 6, 2025. But I think traditionally they say it used to be January 15th. But there is also a petition to allow for special eligibility for those that are in the championship game, and that is January 24th. And those players can then have, I think they say, have 72 hours to revoke their submission or something like that. Also of note, if you enter your name into the draft, you have a deadline of February 7th to opt out. So that's that. That should tell you. So basically, Perk got until January 6th. And I know most of us
That's like 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
hold your breath. This is a good question. Joseph Fry said, how long would y'all give Kelly if this don't work out?
Define workout.
Oh, that's a good question.
Because if you saying if he don't win a championship, I mean, I think he'll be. If he make the playoffs, if he make the playoffs next season, I think they'll buy him 2 seasons.
I think he got 2 seasons anyway. I'm at minimum. At minimum.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, So let's say next year he don't make the playoffs. I think he still come back for the following year.
Yeah.
But if he makes the playoffs next year, I think that gives him the following year and another year,
Yeah.
no matter what. So how long would if he don't? What do you mean don't work out? So like if he goes, let's say we went this year 8-4. If we go 8-4 again, he coming back. Like if he go 8-4 next year, he coming back. If he goes 7-5 next year, he probably coming back. Now if he go 4-8, that's maybe a little different story. You know what I mean? If he Florida State's this thing, there might be a little different story. But I mean, if he goes 9-3 and miss the playoffs, but like Alabama did this year, he coming back.
If we see something like 10-2 and barely missed the playoffs, he probably got another 2-3 years automatically.
Yeah, I mean, if he go 10-2 and miss the playoffs, that's just like making the playoffs. That buy him 2 more seasons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I at 10-2 though, I feel like you in the playoffs.
I honestly think without any kind of just scandal, I think BK is going to make it to 6 years at LSU before they, you know, what I'm saying before it's literally do or die.
Only way I don't see that happening is if he go like 2-9.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Something like that. If he goes 5-7, and he coming back, but that he can't sit down. He got to stand up everywhere he go.
Yeah. Man, Chance says we got to beat Clemson in week 1. I do think if we go a 4th year without under Brian Kelly without a season opening win, that seat gonna be instantly hot. Now he can survive it, of course, you know what I'm saying, depending on how the season go, but
that's tough, man. Like your first 4 years, you started with not just you started with Florida State, USC, Clemson. You know what I'm saying? Like at no point did they ever say, "Hey, let's start the season with McNeese." You know what I'm saying?
We haven't seen that in a while. Even the 2019, we started with Georgia Southern.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But every year since then, we started with a damn Power 4 team, bro. Like it's crazy, dog.
Danny, stop. God.
TJ Finley transferred to Tulane.
Okay. Tulane been doing real good in the portal the last few years. I'm gonna tell you who else has done really well in the portal this year. Houston. I'm actually quite surprised with how, you know, saying they've done. I've been saying it a lot as far as they've got a lot of former SEC coaches and talent. The offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator are now both former SEC coaches.
Yeah, I got Strickland, huh?
I can't think of who Florida. The guy. Yeah. Him, and then of course Slade Nagel, who I get it. He was on that LSU for 1 year, but it's a familiar face with Willie Fritz and stuff. So that's gonna be interesting. Danny asked this, or she said this. I think the revenue sharing and NIL stuff will force programs to be more patient with coaches. I actually think the more and more we gonna move on with NIL, or not NIL, with the transfer portal, is what's going to force places to be, because kids are hopping in and leaving You got to bring. I mean, it's almost like basketball, one and done. You almost have a brand new team every year. Yes, yes, Chuck. What's good, Chuck? Chuck said TJ Finley transferred again. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Man, you got anything else on NIL before we or transfer portal before we move on?
I think what Danny was saying, I mean that's kind of what I was saying. Why you see these coaches getting restructured contracts and stuff, you know what I mean, instead of firing them. Because if I fire you, I gotta pay you 50 million plus the rest of your staff another 5 million or whatever. And then I gotta pay 20 million, 10 million to buy out the new coach and then give him a $40 million contract. Man, that's $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but every year for the past 3 years, I've been asking my boosters for $20 million a year to buy players. So that's 20 million, 20 million, 20 million. Hey, I need 100 million plus the 20 million to still buy some players this year too. Like that's you just can't do that, man.
Yeah. We talked about you talked about it last show or show before last about the Bayou tradition. If everybody gave $10 and stuff like that, what it could do. There you go. If you want to see change, put that money up. Whether no matter whether that change come in the player front or the coaching front, if you want to see it, you better give. All right, man. Next up, man, we got a Heisman Trophy winner. Travis Hunter wins the Heisman, the actual Heisman. And the reason why I say that, that one was actually close. Second place. This is the closest margin. I think they said in like
2009.
2009. Second place was Ashton Jeanty with 2017 votes. He had he finished like 214 votes behind Travis Hunter, who had 2,321. I think that's right. 31, 2,330, something like that. Ashton Jeanty won the fan vote for the Heisman, which means nothing, but he wins the fan vote. But they did announce it like it was, I don't know. Did you see Janty's comments after the
Yeah,
Heisman?
yeah, I saw. And I saw his comments before where he said he stayed up all night practicing the speech for when he wins.
You could say that rest.
Yeah. I mean, I feel him though. Like, of course you feel like you deserved it. And any other year he probably would have won it, man. But when you doing something that ain't never been seen before, bro, it's kind of hard to beat that, man.
Jeanty should have played linebacker or it's just, motherfucker tackles. I'm sorry. That my bad.
But look, so I'm a Mr. 318, right? So I did some digging. Louisiana Tech had a kid, I say a kid, had a guy named Troy Edwards. Do you remember him?
That name sound familiar. Is that the? I'm trying to think. Tell me about him.
All right, so he was a wide receiver, played with for Louisiana Tech back in the 90s. He ended the season with 140 receptions, 1,996 yards, and 27 touchdowns. 21 rushes for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 interceptions. 13 punt returns, 235 yards and 1 touchdown. 16 kick returns for 326 yards. You want to know where he finished in the Heisman voting?
Where?
10th.
God, we need social media. That's what it is. He didn't have social media because nobody was going to talk about him. Plus, La Tech went on TV. You didn't have all these outlets to put him on TV like that.
Nah, he hold on, man. What the heck?
It switched back to No, I can't hear you. You probably muted yourself.
You can hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So he had he had like the most I think he had like 400 yards receiving in one game or something like that against let's see. Yeah, he had 405 yards in one game that year.
God, that's wild, bro.
Still he actually didn't finish in the top 10. Actually, not 10th. He wasn't in the top 10. But he was the Biletnikoff winner, consensus All-American, but he wasn't not even considered for the Heisman.
Yeah.
And if you go look at the 1998 Heisman race, like,
yeah. Hey, y'all I know somebody just tried to call. I think I know who that was. Give us a minute. We'll be taking calls in a little bit. Give us a minute though.
Ricky Williams won in a landslide, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like Michael Bishop, Kay McNown, Tim Couch, Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper, Champ Bailey, Torrey Holt. Like Torrey Holt had 1,600 yards and 11 touchdowns. This man had 1,996 and 27 touchdowns. How is that even like comparable, bro?
Jeez. Chuck said he remembers him. Of course he does.
His son actually played for Tech now, Louisiana Tech now. True.
See, I remember Troy. I remember Troy was from Huntington High School in Shreveport. He says Troy was smoked Nebraska when they lost to
yeah, he killed them, boy. 405 yards.
Jeez.
I be trying to beat that record every time I play NCAA.
Let me ask this, or bring this up, because we talked about Travis Hunter. It's two things with this. Let me ask this, because we heard Genty's his whatchamacallit. We've seen some of the sentiments from people. Are a lot of people not higher on Travis Hunter because of their disdain for Deion Sanders?
I think that's part of it. Me personally. I think people don't like Deion, so that they don't like him as proxy. And I think Shador the same way.
Surrogate son. So
I think Shador the same way. People take out their dislike for Deion on the kids.
Yeah, that is correct. Tim Rattay is the was the quarterback.
Yeah, he was the quarterback. Yeah,
I remember him. Boy, there's some names I ain't seen in a minute. Danny says, I think it's also because he didn't have the best stats at either position, which is irrelevant to me. I can't say he had what? How many receiving yards? 1,000, 1,100?
He had over 1,000, and he had 14 touchdowns. I mean, he was. I think he was top 5 in all the receiving categories, and the only thing his interception numbers wasn't high compared to a lot of other DBs, but they don't throw the ball his way. You can't
Mhm.
get interceptions if they don't throw the ball your way.
Mhm. I mean, and to say he wasn't, his stats weren't the best. I mean, you hit 1K as a wide receiver. He also played what 1,500 snaps, over
Yeah, I don't like
1,500.
that. I don't. That don't matter to me. Like,
Okay.
I get it. It's impressive, but like playing a bunch of snaps don't win you the Heisman. What to me, what won him the Heisman was playing great to elite level at two positions for an entire season. Um, like you legitimately can say he's an All American at two positions.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what.
Even if he ain't first team wide receiver, even if he's second team All American at wide receiver and first team All American corner, that's still ridiculous, bro.
Mhm. So I will say this, Danny. You said it's about his stats. If he plays one position, either one of those positions at LSU this year, and put up those stats, he's probably he probably wins any one of those awards that he won at your school. So I was just saying. So and then now she brought up Nick Nash. That is a lot of what I've seen. Nick Nash or someone else had the best wide receiver stats. So folks are saying he wasn't the best player on either side of the ball. Not saying I agree with it. So with the Nick Nash thing, Nick Nash is a victim of playing for a small school. He didn't have the hype. I mean, it's great to win the Triple Crown, but at the same time, uh, Malik Neighbors played at a big school, had better numbers than Marvin Harrison, and didn't get the Blitnikoff last year. And LSU folks complain, but not many others. So
Let me. So
Aaron said
so
Spencer James.
so check this
I,
out. So check
I
this
know
out.
you ain't gonna get this one. That's the TV show All American. That's the name of the kid that play on there. So
So check this out.
mhm.
Um, hold on. Bolitnikov. So 2022 Bolitnikov winner was Jalen Hyatt, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jalen Hyatt wasn't even. What the hell is Jalen Hyatt? He was 41 in the country in terms of receptions. In terms of yardage, he was number 5 in the country. In terms of touchdowns, he was tied for second, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a receiver who was number 2 in the country in receptions, number 1 in the country in yards, and number 3 in the country in touchdowns, named Tank Dell.
At Houston.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to
Mm-hmm.
know who wasn't even a finalist for the Bolitnikov?
Tank Dell.
Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, we can it happens every year, bro. Like in the dudes who was the finalists for the Bolitnikov that year,
Mhm.
Xavier Hutchinson and Marvin Harrison, like
So
they didn't put up better numbers than Tank Dell, but Tank Dell was playing at Houston, a G5 school at the time. You know what I mean? So he wasn't getting the credit.
yeah.
So the fact that Nick Nash even was a finalist for the Bolitnikov is a is more recognition than most people at that level get.
Mm-hmm.
That don't make him the best receiver in the country just because he put up the best stats.
Yeah. Because as somebody likes to point out, he didn't play the top competition.
I'm not. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too.
I'm not saying that playing for Deion helped Travis win. I'm saying playing for Deion hurt Travis's case. If Travis did what he did for the University of Texas, I think he wins in a landslide.
I will say, as many
Like when you
people who
talk
love,
about a player being the best defensive player in the country and winning the best wide receiver award, and he barely wins the Heisman. Like if this dude played at Michigan and was the best receiver in the country and the best defensive player in the country, he would win the Heisman by a landslide.
agree.
So I'm not saying that playing for Deion helped him. I'm saying it hurt him. He just was still able to win.
Oh, she said she wasn't talking about us. She was talking about online narratives.
I haven't seen anybody say that that
I have
Deion
now.
helped him win.
I think Colorado itself had a hell of a media campaign.
Oh yeah, I mean
Getting
PR,
Travis
yeah,
on getting Travis on ESPN and Fox to talk about his case and stuff before any other fight. This was 3 weeks out.
yeah.
Not 3 weeks. This was
This
like
was a
week
month
8.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
week
a month,
8. They had him on there pushing. So you know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna tell you another thing though. A lot of people, and we talked about Shador. I think that's evident the reason why he wasn't there.
That's what I'm saying.
So
It's the same thing for me to both of them. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like because Travis, part of it is Shador, I think too. Like he a little more flashy than Travis. You know what I mean? So I think he hurt himself some in that. But I think both of them suffer from, I say suffer, but both of them are hurt from the fact that people don't like Deion.
Yeah, it's funny because it's as many people love Deion, it's a lot more that hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so for several different reasons. It's talk that later. All right. Last thing, then we'll get to the calls and stuff. Did you see the situation by everybody's trying to tell Travis to leave his girlfriend and all that stuff?
I'm not getting into that shit, bro.
I'm gonna tell you, the only reason why I brought it up. Who cares?
The internet.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There are several football players who I'm sure if they could have been in social media or social media it was popping more, people would have told them to leave their girlfriends or whatever. RG3. What's your other one? Russell Wilson. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not getting in that shit, man. Be with who you want to be with, man. That's
people will. It's a lot of players. I'm just saying, a lot of players with CD Lamb. When the situation happened at the draft day, he's snatching the phone. People was like, oh, break up with the draft where the dude gets drafted, and the girl was trying to hug the boyfriend, and mama stepped in front and pushed her back. All that.
I know what you're talking about. I'm not getting in there. Like people gonna talk about everybody's relationship and they're gonna have an opinion about what other people should do in their relationship. I ain't getting into all that, man. People gonna be with who they want to be with. They're gonna leave when they want to leave. They're gonna stay if they want to stay. I ain't getting into all that shit, man.
Yeah, this is another one. And this Russell says if he was at another FBS schools, he would not be playing that much offense and defense, and that's the reason why he chose to play for Deion too.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
That.
That's fair. I was just saying hypothetically.
Yeah,
if he played for a coach not named Deion, and he put up those numbers on both sides, it wouldn't be no question if he was the Heisman or not.
Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and open up. Now, if you want to call, you know what I'm saying, phone lines open. Numbers at the top 225-308-1234. That's so easy. That's so easy. Again, that's 225-308-1234. And we also had this weekend basketball, men's and women. The men took on SMU, played phenomenal first half. You know what I'm saying? Made a big push to come back. And then in the second half, I don't know what happened. It's just like they fell asleep, got dead leg. You on mute.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch that game, but from what I read about it and seen on the highlights, it was almost like two different teams in the first half and in the second half for LSU. And I think that kind of go to still being a young team. Besides a few guys, you talking freshmen and sophomores who haven't played a lot, so uh, that consistency is going to be kind of an issue. And I think if they start slow, they got to come out to good starts in games and at the beginning of the second half to kind of set the tempo for that half, because they kind of they don't do too much of starting slow then picking up. You know what I mean? If they start the half fast, they're gonna finish the half fast. If they start the half slow, it's gonna be a slow half. So, and I think they missed Reed in that game too a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. On the women's side, the women end up beating who was they play? ULL.
ULL, yeah.
They end up beating ULL, but it wasn't their best performance by a long shot.
Well, Jersey played her best game, that's for
Yes,
sure.
now that I will say she did. She played. She had double, 18 points, 15 rebounds. Jersey showed up. Anise added 15 and 15. Michaela had 12 and 3, and Flage had 11 and 1. I'm sorry, 11 and 2. Poa chipped in. 5 points, 4 assists, 1 steal. Steals was up this game, so we had 13 steals as a team. Poa got to start that game.
She done started the last two games because Cheyenne been out.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm wondering how if guard play is gonna hurt us when we get to.
You gotta play the freshman, man.
Yeah, Jada Rashard is nice, but she the most complete. But yeah,
You got to deal with the growing pains, man.
Corey says they need Smith to step up.
That's big facts.
All right, thank you for calling the Go to Boot. This Pooh, who we got on the line? What's going on? This is Vaughn, ain't it? Hold on, Vaughn. Let me see some. You can't hear him. His call at all. Ain't? All right. Let me see. Hold on, Vaughn. Let me see. Um, I don't see. But you can hear it earlier though, couldn't it? When we did the test call. Oh, you on mute. Oh, okay. No, Ant was on mute. Hold on, let me see some. I'm trying not to because I don't want to put his Hey, somebody called me. I think that's Chuck. Chuck, you give it a minute. I'm trying to do it, Ant, but I don't want to put his number to display. So that's kind of why I ain't want to put it up there. See if I can find a way to do this so his number does not display. Nope. Trying not to get his. Nope. That's not one. It ain't gonna work. Go ahead, Vaughn. We'll see if we can work through this. Okay. They said they ain't hear ring either. Go ahead. I'm listening, Vaughn. I'm just trying to. Mm-hmm. Hold on, they can't. Hold on, Vaughn, because nobody can hear it. So it just seemed like I'm talking to myself. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out a way to do this, but not put your number up here. Is that gonna be? Go ahead. You can. Hold on. Let me see some.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back if you need me to. It'll be from a 346 area code though. It ain't my number or
Here we go.
anybody else.
We might be.
You good?
Yeah, there we go. Try talking. Say
All right,
something.
bet.
Can you hear him now, Ant?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, go ahead. Ask your question again, Vaughn. My
You
bad.
good? All right, bet. So what I was saying was, so y'all know, JSU won the bowl this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they was people online was saying that they pretty much they putting Dion down in terms of what he did for the program, and like, oh, that other coach couldn't do this, and all that. I'm sure y'all saw it just like I do. I wanted y'all opinion on that topic because I mean he's been gone for about 2 years now, and I believe, I mean, I'm not saying I know he did do certain things to help out JSU before he left, but now we're 2 years later, and it's he was coming back because they won this bowl that they didn't win under Dion, rightfully so. But if he was coming back now 2 years later with like a ha moment almost to like downplay what he did. So I'm trying to figure out like what's our opinion on that, because I mean I think it's kind of messed up, for better words, in terms of, because I mean I maybe he wasn't there as long as people would have liked, I guess, or however that goes, but I just don't see the reason to try to like downplay what he did, all because he didn't win this bowl game, and pretty much act like he didn't do anything for the school when that's not the case.
All right, Ant, you want to go first?
That's my first question.
All right, Ant, you want to go first, or you want to let her ask the second question first?
He can ask the second question first.
Go ahead, Vaughn. Ask your second question, because when Ant respond, you might not. I don't know if you'll be able to hear him respond. So, but go ahead, ask your second question.
And the second question I want to ask y'all is pertaining to LSU.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some portal additions. Obviously, we kind of been hot in the portal on the last couple of days. And with that being said, I'm sure we all know there's more coming. So with that being, and maybe it's too early to even ask this, but I'm still asking anyway, just for the sake of conversation. But with the moves made, and so far with the guys that we have coming back, and maybe even anticipating certain moves, do you think this team is capable of, one, winning week 1 next year, and two, making the playoffs? And that's all I got.
All
Loaded
right.
questions, I know, but
I know. I'm gonna go back to the Jackson State one.
Okay.
And you want to go first, or you want me to start that one off?
All right. So for the Jackson State one, can you hear
I
me,
can't even
Von?
hear Ant. Let me turn this up.
Yeah, you might not be able to hear him, so you might have to mute your phone and just listen through the pod.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
So for the Jackson State thing, I don't think it's necessarily people saying that to diminish what Dion did there or to throw any shade to Dion. I think it's more so to the people who said that Dion made Jackson State or
Facts.
Jackson State was only good because of Dion.
Facts.
That the Jackson State fans are kind of saying like he didn't make us, like we have a football tradition, we have football history, and we're a good program. He just came and added to that. He didn't create it. And I think that they trying to say like if it was all Dion, we wouldn't be able to do what we did without Dion. You know what I'm saying? Like we wouldn't be winning the Celebration Bowl without Dion if we was only good because of Dion. So I think it's more so them trying to separate it from them being you got a number showing, boy.
Oh, my bad.
If you I think it was more so for them to separate their history and tradition from strictly being about Deion Sanders, and to show that it extends past his tenure there at Jackson State.
Yeah. So my thing on now, I do think there is some shade to Dion, and I'm gonna say why. I say on Dion's way out, he did make some remarks that were kind of disparaging and
That's true.
factually inaccurate about Jackson, the city of Jackson, and Jackson State. So it was kind of factually, and what I'm saying, a lot of people took, they didn't mind Dion leaving, because a lot of people don't realize Dion was there for 3 seasons, because he was there for the spring season that the COVID season.
Yeah.
So he was there for that, and then the 2 after that.
Right.
TC Taylor, the coach who's at Jackson State now, was originally going to be the next head coach, but then the opportunity for Dion came in, and it's a lot of things that happened with that. Dion was the 21st coach at Jackson State. Of course, the number 21, you know what that means to Dion. Plus it's Deion Sanders. So of course they, they made the, and pretty much put TC in waiting. Coach TC Taylor. Dion, catch that interception. Dion, as I stated, so on the way out, his first year at Jackson State, I think he was like 3-4 or something like that. It wasn't a real good, it wasn't a good season, and they took their lumps too, that season, just like Coach TC Taylor did and stuff. TC Taylor is a Jackson State alum, grew up in Mississippi, so he's kind of the beloved son of Jackson State. So that's another reason why people are kind of, making the statements they are. And Dion also told Jackson State when he first got with them, the discussion with the AD, Ashley Robinson, he told him he'll be there for 2 seasons. He was there for 3. So that's that. Now to the LSU side of it, I think we can compete week 1 with Clemson. It's gonna be tough. It was gonna be a tough game regardless. I'm not ready to even talk playoffs yet until I know what the O line and D line look like for next year. Also, what our running back situation looks like. I know we'll have more help in the running back room, but I'm not ready for that conversation yet. Just to be fair, and
Yeah, I ain't talking playoffs until I see not only what our roster look like, but what other teams' rosters look like.
yeah, that's true.
But as far as week 1 versus Clemson, yeah, the team capable of beating Clemson. I don't think talent has been the reason you lost any of the games except maybe last year versus Florida State week 1 under BK. I think you've been just as talented or more talented than the teams you played. I think it's going to I don't think the roster is the problem as far as can you beat Clemson. I think that comes more down to can the coaching staff and have the team prepared to beat Clemson.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, man. You got anything else for us, man? Before we get start taking some of these calls.
Yeah, that's it, bro. I'm gonna catch y'all in spaces a little on.
All right, man. Appreciate you for calling, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. We had 2 more calls. Chuck, give us a call back, and then there was somebody else call. Y'all give us a call back. Somebody from 985.
Probably Chris.
It probably would. I ain't even check. Chris Gill's call back. That probably was him. I was expecting the Mississippi number for Chris. Hey, shout out to my little buddy T too, Chris' son. He was in the All-Star game. It's funny. I was messing with about it. Mississippi All-Star game. like seriously, I was like, where's this Chris? Mississippi? It's like, okay.
Down there in Bay St. Louis.
Yep. Thank you for calling the Golden Boot. My man Honey Bun, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
Buddy, what's going on?
How you doing?
We good.
I can't complain, man. I had a couple questions.
Okay.
Especially for my boy Ant. We had a little argument about us bringing in a quarterback.
Okay.
I didn't feel like we needed to waste money on a quarterback because we got a future star that's going to be sitting behind us next year.
Okay.
Seems like we just pushing that guy out and bringing in another quarterback, and we got somebody already.
All right. And let me take this one real quick. I'm gonna let you answer. All right, Chris. Remember when we had Nuss and we brought in Walker Howard?
Mm-hmm.
How did that end out?
One guy transferred and one guy's our starting quarterback now.
Okay. And the guy who everybody said was going to end up being a starter, who was that?
Walker Howard.
Oh, where is he at? Where is he at right now? Is he at LSU still?
I think he just transferred to UL.
Okay. So I guess what I'm trying to get at, you still got to compete. You still got to compete at the end of the day. If Hurley is that dude, show me. And he got a leg up. He in the system. He done been in the system, you know what I'm saying, for a whole year. So he got now MVB has experience playing in, you know what I'm saying, real game experience in the SEC. But you got somebody who's got a rapport with your players, somebody who's been in the system, should know the plays. So hey, may the best man win. If I'm being honest with you, I don't mind bringing in, because at the end of the day, especially in this time frame, quarterbacks leave, come and go like crazy, especially in NIL. Because look how many quarterbacks are in the portal or found new teams now at every level. So, yeah. And you want to.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be able to hear me, but
yeah.
I think
I can't hear him if he's talking.
Yeah, he is. You probably gonna have to if you mute.
Tell him hang up or come back or
you got
another question.
You got another question, Chris? Before we
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and another thing, what do y'all feel like we need? I know we've been having a good portal run right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the position y'all think we still need to fill right now that that we need?
All right.
That we probably ain't got already.
Okay. All right. If you want to, you can hang up so you can hear him when he respond back. Man, appreciate you calling, Chris. We miss you, boy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Go ahead, Ed.
Nah, I think what Chris saying is valid to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
As far as possibility of Colin Hurley leaving because you bringing in a quarterback who is in the same class as him. However, Brian Kelly's job is to bring in as much talent as he can bring to the team. And if that means you could possibly bring in a quarterback who can compete for the backup spot or possibly beat out the backup, then you do it, because we've seen Nuss get banged up a couple times this year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to put the best possible guy that you could put in that situation. So if that means you got to go get a guy, you got to go get a guy. But I don't think that you can let a player hold you hostage in terms of, oh, we can't go get somebody because player X might transfer. Because at the end of the day, player X can transfer anyway, and now you ain't got nobody in your room. Like, hypothetically, if we don't bring in Van Buren, Colin Hurley could still transfer in the spring. Then what you gonna do? So I feel like you always gotta go bring in talent no matter what. And if that means somebody leaves, then hopefully the best one stayed on your roster. But at the end of the day, like, you got to always keep bringing in talent to make people compete, because that's what brings out the best in people.
Yeah. All right. You want to take on the second question too about the
Oh, I mean, we already talked about that. Like Danny said, I need a center. I need a defensive tackle. I need a linebacker. I need another wide receiver, and I need a safety. So about 5 more players.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Chuck, I know you. Chuck. There we go. I was just gonna say, I know my man Chuck tried to call in. Thank you for calling the Golden Boot. Is this the Chuck?
How's it going, guys? Happy holidays to you all.
Same to you, Chuck, man. Good to hear your voice again. What's on your mind tonight?
Man, nothing much. Hey, Ed, you made a lot of sense when you said about Travis Hunter. Yeah, that's no one's business about who someone is with and all, and that's personal stuff. And the people that do that kind of stuff, I look at them as always these hypocrites who have no life. And I always I say, holy, I don't care if people get offended. It's these holier than thou hypocrites. It's always those type people that do it, and you find out they have skeletons in their closet when they start doing that kind of stuff. But my reason for calling, you all were just talking about the transfer portal, and we're seeing the effects of what has occurred with that transfer portal. Look at Marshall, a great example. They all those opt-outs and transfer portal, and after Charlie Huff left to take the head coaching job at the University of Southern Mississippi, they decided they just get out of the Independence Bowl, and that's the reason why Louisiana Tech is in this place to play Army.
Oh, it's La Tech. I didn't even see that. That's good.
Yeah. Louisiana Tech is going to play Army. Because Marshall didn't have enough players. Those guys hit the transfer portal after Charlie Huff left.
Right.
And is it true that he was? They say he was coaching without a contract.
Ant shakes
at
his head.
Marshall.
Ant shakes his head
Yeah,
and says yes.
they didn't extend his
Yeah,
contract or renew his
man.
contract.
Yeah, I see why he went on the Southern Miss. And you know, you talking about the Celebration Bowl. You know, he's an HBCU alumnus. He's a graduate of Hampton University.
Yeah. So Ant said they didn't. We said they didn't extend or renew his contract. They didn't.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
yeah. I didn't get the. You know,
no, that's what Ant was saying.
Oh, that's what Ant was saying. Okay. Okay.
What? Russell Hayes. I don't know what he's talking about. Your call, both hosts. Just a question.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I guess he's talking about this. About this comment. My bad, Chuck. My bad. But
oh no. Yeah, but I was just looking at just seeing the effects of that, and we're looking at that and seeing what's going on now, and it's something I know you just showed tonight. I know you're talking about things with the, you know, I know we have the 12-team college football playoff coming up, and it's interesting to see. I look at those coaches, you know, ones that were in the HBCU spaces, now they're coaching in the other spaces. Now I was looking at Willie Simmons, who's at Florida A&M, and you know, he was running backs coach at Duke this past season, and now he's the head coach at Florida International University. And I think they're trying to bring some flash to FIU, and you know, the stadium, and they have Pitbull, and they think that, you know, Willie Simmons is a great recruiter. He can carry that South Florida area, and he's probably they thinking that. They think that people, the ones at Florida A&M, might hit the transfer portal to try to get down to FIU.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real, Chuck.
Yeah,
you saw Willie Simmons at Florida A&M, especially the last 3 years. The only team he lost to when FAMU left the MEAC and came to the SWAC, the only team he lost to was Deion and Jackson State. That's the only team in the SWAC he lost to.
I attended the 2021 Orange Blossom Classic. I saw it 7-6 game.
Yeah. So
I was down in Miami.
Yeah. So I mean, I honestly think Willie gonna be very successful at FIU. Just because of the, you know, saying his chops. Also, you know, saying he's a Clemson guy. He played quarterback at Clemson.
Oh yeah, played at Clemson. Yeah.
So I mean, I think he knows the ins and outs of both. You know, saying both sides.
Both sides of it. Yes.
The PWI side, HBCU side. I think he's still young enough. He's relatable to the kids.
He is. He's in the early 40s.
Right. So I mean, I see it, man. I think Willie Simmons will be very successful. On that side. Another guy, Jerry Mack at Kennesaw State.
Jerry Mack, yeah, Kennesaw State. I watched him. I was at the game in 2016. He's at North Carolina Central when Grambling beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, T.C. Taylor was offensive coordinator on that staff during that time. And yeah, Jerry Mack. Look at how after he left there. I know he went to Rice. He was on the Tennessee. I think he worked in the NFL, and now he's at Kennesaw State.
Yeah, so man, it's gonna be dope, man. This next season, just seeing the coaching changes and everything. But yeah, it's a new world out there, Chuck, with this NIL and everything. We talked about it. Willie Simmons can literally build a brand new roster, and go from there. So.
Speaking of FIU, we were talking about, you know, they just had the Florida High School Athletic Association state football championships there, and one of the teams that won the state championship, I want to point that out. I wonder if he's going to be on the next level. Miami Northwestern High School beat Reigns. I watched that game, beat them 41-0. You know who the head coach of Miami Northwestern is?
Teddy B.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
He coached his alma mater to a state championship.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Give me 1 second, Chuck. I'm trying to find it. I'm sure you already know this because you tend to know all of these things. But in the playoffs, I don't know the last thing. Last time I saw, he was outscoring his opponents 263-12.
Woo! Man.
Yeah. So
All right.
We talking about former NFL players going back to coach college or HBCU.
Mike Vick.
Yeah.
I think that he needs to be on that Teddy B. You know, what I'm saying might end up being on that list. And Ant just brought up Mike Vick is in negotiation.
Michael Vick, you just took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, Norfolk State.
Yeah, so
Sacramento State. Sacramento State trying to
Yeah,
pluck
that's gonna bring people into the space
Oh.
that who normally wouldn't be around HBCUs.
Yeah. Now, what's funny? Ant just said, I didn't know this. Sacramento State is trying to.
State.
Yeah. I told you Chuck be knowing everything. Ant. We can't sneak nothing by him. Chuck, so let me ask you a question. When do you sign your contract with ESPN?
That's a great joke. I needed some humor like that. Hey, if Pat McAfee can get on, I think I can do it. Hey, the three of us can get on there. Let's do our own thing and clown around.
I heard that. Hey, can you kick a field goal? That's all. That might be what.
No, I can't kick a field goal.
Well, I can stir up controversy. We just need somebody to kick a field goal, and we might be able to get us a show.
Yeah, because that's what's going on. They've laid off a lot of people. Yeah, the only thing you get on there now would be him and get Stephen A. Smith around there yelling at everyone.
What you say, Ant? Oh, you on mute? Oh, there you go.
Do I gotta make the field goal? Because I can kick one.
Yeah.
Ant said he can kick it. If he ain't got to make it, he can just kick it though.
He said he just kick it.
Yeah, he can kick it.
Do like Tom Dempsey.
Oh man. Hey Chuck, man, as always, man, I appreciate you calling, man. You got what else you got for us tonight before we get ready to let you go?
Oh, not much going on. We just got finished. Anthony can tell you, just got finished with Louisiana High School Athletic Association state football championships at the Superdome. Mm-hmm. And you know, some of tomorrow's stars, and you know, we're talking about transfer portal, you know, that's what happened. That's what get lost in the sauce. Some of those players that played in the Superdome Classic get overlooked, and some of your best players are playing on that turf, and you know, sometimes you don't want to lose track of these things. Yeah, I know they say you want to get in when, you know, in the days of the microwave effect. I'm just gonna land on that one.
That's funny. Russell says in the chat, Russell says FIU might ask TC for OC. He said, remember, money plays a part.
Money, just like Deion Sanders said, must be the money.
Honestly, and I agree, he absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't know TC.
Yeah.
I don't know TC lead though. I don't know.
TC, yeah, because I know he's from Macomb, Mississippi, and I know he's a Jackson State alumnus. And I remember him saying his wife is a graduate of Alcorn. I think both of them from Mississippi, and I think he's kind of becoming comfortable there. That's just my take on that. And things can change years to come. You know, Willie Simmons said the same thing. You know, he's from Quincy, Florida. He said, you know, all the FAMU connections there. But when the stuff was going down and that Duke job came available, and with Manny Diaz, and he realized that, look, this is the time to go. I think his kids are out of college. I think he had children in law school and kids out of college and all. He said, this is my time to jump into this.
Yeah. You mentioned, I was just about to say, because you mentioned TC Taylor. We're talking about TC real quick.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, TC. I watched him at Jackson State. Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. TC is probably, I've never met, you know what I'm saying, Sweat Media, I've never met a coach who had, well, I mean, anybody who's mentioned TC, anybody who's ever mentioned TC Taylor has said nothing but good things. TC is also one of my favorite interviews at SWAT Media Day of all times. So him and Coach Maynard. Him and Coach Maynard.
Oh, Connell Maynard. Oh, gosh, that's a great question. Who you think will replace him? You think people been saying Sam Shea, some said Teddy Keaton, and just been throwing names around.
If I had a top three, and this is both who I think and who I also think that Alabama A&M looks at, my top three. And probably in order: Fred McNair, Sam Shea, Teddy Keaton.
Fred McNair, and they're, you know, people have mixed feelings about Fred McNair. Here's a guy who I watched it live when he was at Alcorn when he had the coaches show. He became frustrated with the fan base on his show, and he would quit the show. He after that show, talking about he not doing another coach's show. One thing about when coaches play, you can't go and do those type things.
Yeah, I remember that. He if I'm not mistaken, he did that was he did that, but then he came back the next season.
Yeah.
He came back the next season, so
yeah,
and I think he did the shows that next season though. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's just frustration. But Chuck, man, appreciate you calling in. And we look forward to talking to you again later on.
All right, always great conversing with you all, you and Ed and the rest, and if everybody's watching and listening, a happy holidays to you all.
Hey, same to you, Chuck, man. Make sure you take care of your folks for us.
I sure will. Same to you all on that end.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Human Encyclopedia Chuck himself. Danny, I saw because I did see this. Danny says that she just saw an X post that a 2025 quarterback literally just signed with a school, decommitted. Can they do that once they sign under these new rules? I think we may see that happen after portal picks up. If I'm not mistaken, it's no longer the NLI that they're signing. It's just what is it like financial aid paperwork
agreements. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I mean, technically you can.
It's non-binding.
Mm-hmm. He said same thing was said about Willie Simmons.
That's true. Yeah, about him not leaving being from the area, all that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's. I mean, and it's true. And I'm not saying I would never say that TC would never leave, but I think it's a little bit different when you know what I'm saying, that's your alum and everything. Money talk.
I think he could possibly leave for possibly like the Southern Miss job. So where he could still be close to home, and that's like what Willie Simmons did. You know what I'm saying? He took a G5 job close to home.
Yeah, Duke, and then
even though he left for a year to do it, but you know what I mean. Like, if TC win a couple more Celebration Bowls, you never know.
Yeah,
Southern
that's
Miss
true.
might come calling.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think, man, what else we had this weekend? UFC, I ain't watched the fight. Kobe Covington got rocked.
I ain't watched that mess.
Started bleeding. They had to pull him up out of there. Get him up out of there, coach. A lot of people upset. I know you ain't watch it. I didn't watch it. I don't care, but I thought it was funny. A lot of people upset. Hulk Hogan was at UFC and not at the WWE main event or something like that. People's I know you don't care. It was just funny because people was upset about that. I'm trying to think what else we had this weekend. Do you want to talk about the Saints real quick? I know you don't, but do you want to
watch that game?
Oh, okay. I watched it during my travels.
Good old nap.
I watched it during my travels. Jaden was calling them. He was carving them up, and then Saints just stepped up, and I mean they did everything to win that game. They went for 2, and you say good decision.
Mm-hmm.
Our man AB brought up a really good point. He said he's been around college programs, he's been around NFL programs, and he said one thing that remains true: backup players or backup quarterbacks don't practice 2-point conversions.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He says so. Yeah,
that is a damn good point. I don't like the play call they did, giving them half the field to work with.
Did they line? I ain't see it. Did they line them up on that hash?
No, they rolled them out to the right.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they lined them up on the left hash and rolled them out or what. So
they rolled them right and cut the field in half. DB left his man and made a play on the ball. So, just a bad play call in my opinion, but good decision to go for it though.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: speaking of bad play calling, Dan Campbell,
terrible.
kicking an onside
Dumb as
kick
hell.
with
Dumb
11
as
minutes left in the game.
Dumb as hell. Dumb
With
as
the
hell.
with the new rules, you have to announce it's an onside kick. There is no sneaking.
Dumb as hell. There's no way you could justify that. None.
And then at the end of the game was like 3 minutes left. They kicked the deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gonna be the reason they don't win the Super Bowl.
Oh man. Looking some more scores. Eagles made a statement. 14-point win over the Steelers.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Technically, it's funny we joked about them. The Cowboys have still got a chance to make the playoffs. Sneak in. They need a lot of help.
Anyway.
The Buccaneers. Second time I've seen them do this season. Buccaneers or you know what I'm saying, blanked a team in the second half and scored 27 on them. They beat the Chargers 40-17. And last night, Jordan Love and the Packers beat down the Seahawks. Everything else was kind of blah. Jets beat the Jags, Cowboys beat the Panthers, Ravens beat the Giants, Chiefs beat the Browns. Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. And Bengals beat the Titans by 10. Right now, the Falcons are winning 15-13 over the Raiders, and the Vikings are up 21-6 on the Bears, but the Bears are driving. So, all right, man. That's about it. That's all I got. You got anything else before we get ready to get up out of here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and all I need is a Caleb Williams interception. All I need is a Caleb Williams interception, and the parlay is secure. Golly, man. He is killing me. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get ready to get up out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Y'all do us a favor. Like we always say, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget, subscribe, like, share. Go over to YouTube and subscribe. Try and get us ready. Hold on. We got Christmas music. Let's see what Christmas music play before we get up out of here. All right, man. We'll be back Wednesday. We got a special guest coming through on Wednesday, man. Make sure y'all tune in. Like that. We out. This show was presented by betonline.ag.
Bring me my money.
You can find the Golden Boot Podcast on YouTube at Golden Boot. On Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On Facebook at the Golden Boot Pod. On TikTok at Golden Boot. Or listen on all streaming platforms.